Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Howdy, buckaroos, and welcome back to another exciting, incredible episode of the Real Film Nerds Podcast. For today's episode 174, we finish out our summer retrospective on Back to the Future with Back to the Future Part 3.
I thought it was going to be Part Trace.
Oh, Part Trace. Damn it, I screwed it up. That's right, Part Trace. And as you all know, my name is Matt. I am not mysterious, nor am I awesome. But there, chiming in, is Mysterious Mike Talent, who's also awesome and mysterious and talented. All in one.
Yeah, howdy, y'all.
All right, Mike, let's just dive right in to what year is this? 1990. 1990's Back to the Future Part 3. Go ahead, dude. Mr. Clint Eastwood Talent, give us the rundown.
All right. All right, man. So this is directed by Robert Zemeckis again, written by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, starring Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Mary Steenburgen, Thomas F. Wilson, Leah Thompson, Elizabeth Shue. And this one, stranded in 1955, Marty McFly learns about the death of Doc Brown in 1885 and must travel back in time to save him. With no fuel readily available for the DeLorean, the two must figure out how to escape the Old West before Emmett is murdered.
How do you like Back to the Future 3 part? Back to the Future Part 3. Like, Part 3 is the title, not just 3, Part 3. Whew. All right.
This one's a lot of fun because it's kind of a lot different than the other two. It's still going back in time, but it's going back in time to like a Western, and it's fun to see that kind of genre in the Back to the Future kind of feel. I don't know. It was fun to see that the different take of the juxtaposition between like the first one's like 1950s, the second one's like 2015, and then now 1885.
Wow, that was a big word, Mike. Juxtaposition. Wow.
Yeah. Every once in a while, man. That's it. That's the last big word for the whole pod.
For the whole pod or the rest of the year?
Yeah, maybe the rest of the year. We're like halfway through the year, right?
Yeah. It's taken forever, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the world is kind of burning.
Yeah, well, and what's the latest? We're getting some asteroids coming at us. So maybe it truly is the end of everything, and I've wasted my life. And I should be out flying an airplane, enjoying, having fun.
Maybe. Are you going to call in tomorrow and be like, yeah, I've got some anal glaucoma going on. I can't see my ass coming in to work today.
What? Anal glaucoma? Wow. No, I can't. I actually I have some houses to shoot tomorrow, and the clients are expecting me to be there. So I better damn well will better be there, or else I'm going to be in trouble. So nope, I'm going to have to. I'm sorry, Mike. No glaucoma for my ass tomorrow.
Do you like that though? Like
that was good.
I can't see my ass going in. Anal glaucoma.
Yeah,
come on, man.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I'm going to use that in the future. I'm going to use that definitely. So, thank God none of my friends or family listen to this podcast, so they won't know when I use it. They'll believe it's like a real thing. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know, Matt. Maybe these days you could call in for Mental Health Day.
Well, dude, then I would have had a mental health life. I wouldn't have had to do anything since I was born. I mean, because you know how my family is.
Well, I don't know about that, Matt, but just saying.
Okay, so Back to the Future Part 3.
Yes, Matt, tell us about it.
What is there not to love? I am really having a hard time talking today. This is terrible. What is there not to love? It's cowboys and Indians and horses and DeLoreans. And trains.
Yes. Yep.
And hoverboards.
Yep. And trains, man. Yeah.
And Jules Verne.
And gunfights and hangings. Oh, that's a never mind. That's a touchy subject.
Yeah, Mike. What's wrong with you? You're gonna get us in trouble.
I didn't mean to.
Better
Not
apologize.
I'm not gonna say nothing else.
So, out of the three, this is my second favorite. I like this one a lot because it's original, because the story's better, because the story's unique, and it takes place in the Old West. I mean, how is that not fun? And the train is freaking awesome. You know, not to jump straight to the end, but when Doc Brown shows up with the tricked out train that looks like the DeLorean, and it, you know, I'll get into that later on what I think where he was going. But I always thought that was just so cool. And then Flea again. I mean, come on. Needles.
Yeah, of course. No, I enjoyed the kind of tie-in with Clint Eastwood. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Well, and that goes back to Back to the Future Part 2.
Yeah.
The scene where Biff is in the bathtub with the honeys and he's watching the Western.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said on last week's pod, both Part 2 and Part 3 were filmed at the same time. They had 11 months of filming, and it took 2 years to set up all the stages and sets.
Where did they film Part 3? Because it's gorgeous. It's very pretty.
I'm not sure, actually. I didn't look at that. I know some of it was Monument Valley, like, you know,
yeah, of course.
The drive-in?
Yeah.
They apparently just built that only for the movie. It's completely fake, never played a movie on it, and then destroyed it as soon as it was done filming.
Oh, yeah, dude, that was reservation land, man. They had to. I'm surprised they let them build it in the first place, but no, because the scene, the downtown Hill Valley scenes where the courthouse is and the bars and all that stuff does not look anything like Hill Valley because there's actual, like, hills and mountains and stuff in the background.
Yeah, as far as filming locations, according to the unofficial Real Film Nerds sponsor, IMDb, is Monument Valley, Utah, Monument Valley, Arizona, and Sierra Railroad, Jamestown, California.
Okay, well, there you go. So, Jamestown, California.
Yeah.
Never been there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Been to Monument Valley, though.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
All right, Mike, so what are your thoughts?
It was fun. I liked seeing, you know, a lot of the movies have focused on Marty's relationships and stuff, and it was good to see, like, Doc kind of having a relationship and how it kind of came about. It was just goofy and fun, and I don't know, like the two nerds kind of fall in love. Really, I like watching it. It was fun.
Well, but one question I have is, so they save Claire Clayton from falling into Clayton Ravine, and so he drastically changed history.
He did.
So where's the repercussions from that? Because when Marty McFly went back, it was fine. Society was back to normal.
Or was
as far
it?
as we know. Yeah, as far as we know. Yeah.
You know, you're right, man. I don't know. It's like the whole what is it? What do they call that? Like the butterfly effect or whatever? What is it called when like, you know, one little thing changes and the ripple and time.
It's the butterfly effect, like the movie with Ashton Kutcher. Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't heard that name in a while.
But see, I kind of think that what Doc did was he stayed in there, built the time machine train, and then like got out of there maybe went back in time to the day like he came there, and I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out, but
Oh, dude,
something.
no, easy, man, easy. I bet what they did is, so instead of it being named after her from her dying, they went back in time or forward in time to whenever the moment is that they decided to name that particular area, and made sure that she gave a large cash donation to whoever was in charge of naming it, and then all of a sudden it's hers.
Well, but if you look, they named the ravine after Clint Eastwood because Marty McFly fell in there. I don't know if you caught that or not. When he's
I don't know
back
if I
in the
caught
future
that.
and he comes across the
Yeah.
tracks, it says Clint Eastwood Ravine.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're right.
So it was named after Marty McFly, falling in there supposedly and dying.
Yeah,
But-
all right.
So one of my theories is how the train turns around, takes off, and like rockets out of there. I think instead of going back to the future, because Doc drops some hints at the end where he's like, "Are you going to go to the future? Are you going to go to the past?" He's like, "No, I've been there. I've done that." And he doesn't say where he's going, but I think
Did he
he's
say
going
the
to space.
Rome? Oh, I thought he said he was going to go check the Colosseum out or something. Was that? No.
No,
He
no,
didn't say that.
No.
No,
I think he was going to space. I think he was going to check out the moon or something, because that was one thing they talked about a lot in this. Doc Brown and Miss Clara Clayton was
They did.
Orson Welles in space and traveling to the moon, and not Orson Welles, Jules Verne. Sorry.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, no, and they were looking stargazing and stuff, and she had the telescope and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Right. So that's what my theory is. I think they went to space. Now, does Doc Brown come back from space and just live out his days back in good old 1985? That's to be determined in part 4 after Robert Zemeckis dies.
Gotcha.
But no, I really like this one. It's not my favorite of the 3, but it's a good one. It's a lot of fun just because it's so much different than the other 2.
Yeah, I like seeing Thomas F. Wilson as not Biff, but as like Mad Dog.
Mad Dog
that-
Tannen. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool, different character, but I know still kind of the same, bad guy. But I like seeing him in kind of a different way, because it's like you can only get so much of Biff. Like he's just kind of very one-dimensional. I thought Mad Dog Tannen was actually a better character. Like just had a little bit more to him, a little bit more depth.
He's a much better villain, that's for sure. Definitely. But no Billy Zane.
No Billy Zane.
Damn it. I needed my Billy Zane fix. I was very upset at that. He still has his minions, but they're not the minions from the first 2.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I don't know.
I wonder if everybody wanted more money, and they're like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Later.
maybe. Maybe they're
Um,
becoming famous. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. Matt, what is your favorite part in this movie?
Oh, dude,
Favorite
that's
scene.
That's a hard one, but because I really like the end scene with the train and trying to get up to 88 miles an hour, and even though as goofy and as cheesy it is as it is, and the train like car popping a wheelie in front of the train and all that stuff, that's a lot of fun. But I'd have to say probably when Doc Brown is sitting there talking all night and holding a drink, and then he finally takes the drink when right before Marty walks in there and then passes out, and he's like, "How many did he have?" He's like, "That's the first one." I thought that was just, that whole thing is just hilarious. The wake up juice, and he pours it down his gullet, and he wakes up and he's screaming and he runs off and dunks his head in the trough and he's out again, and that just whole like thing was just so much fun.
Yeah, that is a really great scene. I think if I was gonna say a favorite scene in this movie, those are great scenes. I really liked the dancing scene. Where they're at the dance or whatever.
The big
like
clock unveiling fire up thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
Because that was kind of fun. And then I love the standoff, where Michael J. Fox is just not going to do anything, and then he gets shot. Because that just reminded me of like the classic, pretty much every Western. So
Oh yeah, definitely the high noon, and they even have a joke about that, about being Marty McFly's at noon. He's like, no, I do my killing before breakfast. 7 o'clock. It was pretty funny. That was good.
Yeah.
But it's unique because like he pops off Marty and he starts throwing his hands up like he's the victor, and like no one's applauding, no one's like saying anything. Everybody's kind of just in shock, and he thinks he did this wonderful, awesome, badass thing. Look how badass of a gunslinger I am. And then Marty gets up. It was good. It was real good.
Yeah, I liked seeing it in that different that was a different way to go about it. Like they could have had, Marty McFly / Clint Eastwood, pull his gun and beat him. But I liked that approach. I thought that was more Back to the Future like.
It was also more kid friendly too, but.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is a fun movie though. I mean, it's fun. It's ridiculous, but it's fun. I don't know. I feel like they don't make. I mean, I guess sound like an old man now, but it just doesn't seem like they make as many fun movies as they used to.
It's because you are an old man, Mike.
I'm trying to think of the last really fun movie that I watched. Just trying to think.
Well, the problem is like the fun ones today, they almost push the level of slapstick too far. It's either super slapsticky or it's not, or it's too serious in some ways. It's not kind of a nice, even little divide like this, or European Vacation, or Christmas Vacation, or, Superbad. That's another really fun movie,
Yeah, Superbad was pretty fun. Superbad is pretty fun. I was just trying to think of a somewhat recent, like, good, like, action-y but comedy movie.
Well, I really liked Ready or Not. I thought that was a lot of fun, but it's not as
Yes.
it's not as funny as something like this, and it's definitely not age appropriate for the youngsters. That's for sure. But
yeah, Ready or Not was great. Actually, it was really good, surprisingly good.
yeah, it was just fun. It really was. But it's not like this. It's not, It was a horror comedy, much like Shaun of the Dead, but not even like, it's still above Shaun of the Dead. I mean, it's pretty hardcore on the horror,
Yeah, it's hardcore in the horror. Yeah. I was trying to think of a movie like, man, The Rock's been cranking out movies. I guess Jumanji.
Yeah, Jumanji.
Jumanji.
Yeah. I'll go with Jumanji.
The first one.
Yeah,
the first. Second
one.
Okay, the second one, but the recent Rock one. Man, I said that completely wrong.
Yes, you did.
So there's 3 Jumanjis.
Yeah, but Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
That's it.
The first one, not the sequel or the upcoming trilogy we all know is coming. So the first one was fantastic. It was really good. That second one was kind of a letdown.
Yeah, and it was fun. I don't know. It was just a lot of fun. The second one was kind of a letdown. But the characters, everything in the first one was really good. Or Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. I'm trying to think of if there's been any other like surprise movies that were just a lot of fun. I'll keep thinking, Matt, but I can't think of anything real quick off the top of my head.
Don't hurt yourself, Mike.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Mike, while you're thinking, isn't there a little something you need to ask me?
Oh, yes, Matt. Are you going to grace us with what you are drinking this fine day?
Well, that's an interesting way of putting it, Mike. But thanks for asking. In honor of Doc Brown, I am not drinking a Miller High Life for a third week in a row. Mike, what does this look like to you?
Bourbon? I don't know.
It's a nice glass of whiskey for
Oh,
Doc
okay.
Brown. It is.
Yeah.
I guess you would call it more of a wussy whiskey, but it's actually pretty good. It's just straight with ice. Jim Beam vanilla.
Oh,
Little vanilla beam. Yeah.
Vanilla Beam, huh? Okay. All right. Is it on sale again?
No, but I got it a few weeks ago to mix with some Coke, and I drank the Coke before I drank the whiskey. So
Oh, all right.
doesn't need
Well,
it, but I was thinking like I'll get regular Coke and vanilla whiskey, and I'll put it together, and I'll have a vanilla Coke and whiskey.
There you go, man.
And now it's
There
just
you go.
vanilla whiskey. It's tasty though. It's a pretty good whiskey because it's not, Jim Beam technically makes bourbon, but bourbon is not to go off, but is very specific, and you can't call something like this, especially flavored, a bourbon. So it's just a whiskey, but it's a good whiskey. All right, Mike. So what beer are you drinking today, sir?
So, at the local grocery store, they happen to have a sale going on. So, the wife got me some good stuff. She got me Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Nice, dude. I don't think you've had a pale ale in a while. At least not
Yeah.
on here.
Yeah. So, I remember, Matt, your roommate in college drank these like there was no tomorrow. And I tried it and I was like, oh, I don't like it.
Oh, I always thought it was pretty good. The one that I wasn't a super huge fan of that he would get when they were in season was Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, Bigfoot is it's like very strong and they're okay. It's like a what do they call it? Barley wine?
Yeah. I was never a super huge fan of the Bigfoot, but the pale ales, I didn't mind those. Especially when I was out of beer in my fridge. Now, my other roommate that was in that room, his friend from high school, he drank Keystone Light was his go-to, and if that was in there, nope, I would go and get a glass of water.
Oh man, come on, man! Keystone Light.
Yeah,
we used to get down on some Keystones. They're cheap, man.
I know. I drank my fair share of Stones as they, had that one marketing campaign, but they're not. It's not a good beer. I'm sorry, it is not a good beer.
No, it's not good. No, it's like well, I mean, college. Why did we drink Steel Reserve? Ugh.
Fair enough.
It's cheap.
Well,
That's why.
and that was when I first found out about Samuel Adams Oktoberfest, and that when end of the season comes on Oktoberfest, they throw it all on half price. And so we bought cases of that stuff and just stocked it up in the room. We drank it for the rest of the year. We drank so much
Holy
Oktoberfest. It was
moly,
great.
man. You just went and got as much as you could.
We
yeah.
had an entire shopping cart full of Oktoberfest. It was great.
Like, you guys got a party? No, this is just for tomorrow.
Well, you remember what we did. You remember. You came down a couple times and stepped into the living room.
I remember you were working on some wallpaper.
Oh, we completed the wallpaper pretty quickly. A lot of that wallpaper was Oktoberfest. But you remember what the rule was though, right?
It's been a long
For
time.
every box of beer we got or 6-pack or whatever, we could only cut out one side. So say you had like 4 sides with logos and stuff, you couldn't do it. You only could do one side.
Gotcha. You got to keep it fair.
Right. And it still didn't take us long to fill up the entire thing. And then we got in so much freaking trouble on our last day in the dorms. I told you about that, right?
No, I mean, I'm sure you did, Matt, but
We took down all the boxes and put it in our shopping cart that we had in our room, wheeled it down to the courtyard, and spelled out our room number in the courtyard in the middle of the night because our RA, who lived next door, was on shift. So she was at the front desk all night. We went down there, we drank, and we were doing all kinds of stuff all night. Just literally all night. And I don't know, I think it was probably 4:00 in the morning or something. It was like right before her shift ended. And we spelled out our room in the courtyard, just huge with all the boxes. And she gets off shift and she comes straight to our room and pounds on the door. It was like the cops were there. You get out here and clean this shit up. We didn't answer the door. We refused to answer the door. She had to go clean it up. It was hilarious. God, we were troublemakers. It was bad. All right, enough about college.
Man. All right.
It was like 20 years ago, Mike. Shit, we're old.
Oh, man, it was.
All right, so I guess I'll ask my question since it's about that time as well. Speaking of time travel, do you do time travel in that? Yeah, let's go with that.
All right.
Speaking of time travel, Mike, how does Back to the Future Part 3 relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Well, Matt, thanks for asking. This week's MCU tie-in is Dennis S. Sanders. He did the re-recording on this one, and he works on musical score mixing now did work on Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, and Captain America First Avenger. He did all the musical score mixing for those movies.
Well, I'm proud of you, Mike. 3 different movies of the same trilogy, same director, same music, and you found 3 different people to tie it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes. I mean, it's a little bit more recent movie, so I figured, if you're starting your career doing something, you probably just progressed in your career and, closer to aging out, but if you really love it, you just work in it forever, and so yeah, thanks.
Anything else you want to add about Back to the Future Part Trace?
Yeah, sure.
Trivia. Did you look up trivia?
I did a little bit.
Nice.
So Matt, did you know that Michael J. Fox was really hung when they were shooting this movie?
No, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, and
that's terrible.
Yeah, he was accidentally hung and passed out or whatever, and anyway, he was okay. Michael J. Fox actually referred to these movies as going back to school because he had to learn how to play a guitar, he had to learn how to ride a horse, he had to just learn all this stuff because he didn't know how to do any of this stuff, and to make it look more real, he had to know how to do it. So there's that. There's quite a few things that are really neat about all these movies. The 2, like I was saying earlier, Matt, the 2 years to build the sets, and then 11 months of shooting. And what they did is the first movie was shot, and then they started editing in that one, and then they started shooting the third movie. So it was like going on, like they had post-production going on of the second movie while they were shooting the third movie.
Do you think Robert Zemeckis just didn't sleep? And or do you think he just kind of was like, hey, Steven, you want to, go do a little editing for me?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Or do you think he just didn't sleep? Like they had the post-production, set up, near the set of Back to the Future Part 3 or something, or?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they'd shoot all the stuff they were going to shoot that day, and then he'd go drive by and be like, hey, how's it going? You got Can you give me like the rundown of what happened today?
Yeah, like what'd you cobble together today? Fired up, let me take a look kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, or what are you working on? Like, oh yeah, that's good, or that's crap. They were trying to get Ronald Reagan in this to play the part of Mayor Hubert because of his fondness of the first film, but he reluctantly turned it down.
Oh, dude, that would have been great.
If he did show up in the movie, it would have been the first time he had been in a film in 30 years.
Wow. Because, yeah, they had a Ronald Reagan digital guy in the Cafe 80s, if you remember that.
Yeah, he loved the first movie.
I don't blame him. I mean, it was incredible. I love the whole trilogy. You know, you have to. It's cinema gold, man.
Yeah, in this movie, the catchphrases are flip-flop. So, you know, Marty says, "Great Scott," and Doc Brown says, "Yeah, this is heavy."
I didn't catch that at all. Nice, man. Nice. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think those are some of the highlights. You know, when they get their picture taken at the clock, the time is 8:08. This is possibly a reference to 88 miles per hour.
Oh, definitely.
There's all kinds of little things. A lot of the, like, because, you know, it's a play in time and it's all the same area. It's like there's a horse dealership in 1885 is owned by the Sattlers. And then, you know, in Back to the Future in 1985, there's an ad on the radio for Sattler Toyota. Like, you know, just all the family history kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially like the manure. It's like the same manure guy.
Yeah, it's the same family. It's
right.
like A. Jones or J. Jones.
Yeah. I think it's probably like D. Jones or something in another one too. But yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Then, you know, like in the second one, Mayor Goldie Wilson. And then there's like Mayor Goldie Wilson the third or whatever.
Yeah. All that stuff. It's fun, though. It makes the movie fun. I think that's pretty much all the things that I saw of note. They did ask Clint Eastwood if they could use his name, and he was honored to to let them. He said he was tickled by the homage.
Dude, he's a Western icon, man. Huge. I mean, even
I know
back
he
then,
is.
yeah. You know, one of the greatest Westerns of all time, in my opinion, is Good, the Bad, the Ugly. So, love that movie.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Super long, though, but it's a good one.
Yeah. It is a good one. I like some of the other ones, like Pale Rider and Outlaw Josie Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's all I got, Matt. Do you have did you see any trivia, or is there anything else you would like to comment about?
Nah, dude, I didn't look up any trivia. I'm sorry. I'm a slacker this time. I apologize.
All right. Well, you know, this wraps up our summer movie retrospective. Hopefully everyone has watched these movies a million times, but if you haven't, you should at least watch them while they're on Netflix and just enjoy them, because this is fun. These are fun movies.
It's a good time to raise your spirits with a fun, comedic, thought-provoking film. Or films. All three.
Yeah, and time travel is tricky, and I think they did a pretty good job. You know, there's always going to be questions and, you know, perhaps editing mistakes and things, but man, I think they did a pretty good job with the overall.
All right, Mike. So a pretty good job overall equates to 5 out of 5 reels for you?
You know, Matt, I'm going to give this one 5 out of 5. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
I am impressed, man. You've kicked my ass 2 out of the 3 times on this movie. We tied on the original, but I also like this one a lot. I have spoke about it a couple times in this already, that I think it is better than Back to the Future 2. I do not think it is quite as good as the original, but I like it because it's original and it's unique. The story's different. They expand on it. They add in a girlfriend for Doc, and they do some really fun, inventive, creative things in the Old West instead of your standard stereotypical Western ripoff. So I give it 4.5 out of 5 reels.
Nice, Matt. Nice.
So, Mike, you want to talk about what movie we're going to review next week? Because I know nothing about it other than it's a Disney movie on Disney+.
Yes, Matt. We are going to be reviewing a movie called Artemis Fowl. And this movie is a movie that was slated to come out into the theaters, but then this virus thing came along and really kind of threw a wrench in really all of the theaters running and everything around the world. So Disney decided to put this straight to Disney Plus, and it comes out on Friday,
June 12th.
Yeah, June 12th, and we're going to review that and let you know what we think, and then also, I'm sure, talk about movie theaters going straight to video on demand.
Dude, that's a good idea to talk about that, because you and I have had several articles where we've sent them back and forth to each other throughout this pandemic on what the movie theaters are doing and what they're thinking, and are they going, tits up, and are they going to come back, or are we going to have to sit 3 people in a giant theater so we don't get, social distancing and all that crap? That'll be a good discussion. That might be a long one. I'm going to have to look up some articles, Mike.
Yeah, especially with, I know some areas are starting to open up and some theaters are threatening to either close or open, like some might not ever come back. It's all over the place, and,
literally the biggest movie chain on the face of this planet is threatening to shut down, that they can't survive this, which I don't understand, but.
Well, Matt, we will talk about that next week. I have some ideas of what's going on with them, but wow.
I'm looking forward to it, Mike. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. Well, not fun, but it'll be interesting. Let's go with interesting.
Yeah,
because the demise of an industry is not fun. That's horrible. I know. I've been in one where it died. So, but last little bit from me here is I was on the radio again today. So I talked about Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3 on the radio for about 4.5 minutes. So you will have my review from Magic 99.1 with Lisa live and local after the podcast. So stick around if you want to hear that.
All right, man. Awesome. I know last week you said you skipped it, so it wasn't on there. But
well, Lisa texted me early in the morning when she got in about 4. So I was, of course, wide awake. She texted me, and when I got up to do the interview, I saw the text, and it said, "Hey, I don't think you coming on and us having a good time and chatting and joking around is a smart idea right now," because it was literally right after the protests really started kicking into high gear. And so I think it was more of a somber, like, let's kind of just play music and not have fun. I don't even think she did trivia. That was her call. It's her show. So, but I'm back for now. So until I upset her or those meteors hit the planet and we all die like the dinosaurs.
Exactly.
All right, Mike. Well, I'm good, man. I'm good. Go watch Back to the Future. Enjoy it. Love it. I'm sure they'll remake it, but in our lifetimes, hopefully not. But see you all next week. Mike, take us out.
Thanks for listening, everybody. And, go out and watch as many movies as you can. Check us out on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, maybe we'll start getting Matt to do a Twitch stream or something. I don't know. He loves just spending time.
Yeah, I'm going to do a Twitch stream. I'll do a Twitch stream if you do Snapdick.
Oh, all right. Well, never mind.
There you go. If I got to do more social media, I'm going to make you do at least one.
All right. Well, on that note, goodbye, everybody, and catch us next week for Artemis Fowl.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now, go out and catch a movie.
Good morning, Magic 99.1. Who's this? You know who this is. Come on. You're harassing me on the radio already?
I was hoping I was going to get to talk to you this morning. It's Matt Hinshaw from the Real Film Nerds podcast. How you doing, Matt?
Living the dream. How are you doing, Lisa?
Yeah, right there with you. Living the dream. I have to tell you, I watched something really fun last night.
What? You watched a movie? Live.
Well, no. It was Celebrity Family Feud.
Celebrity Family Feud. I didn't know that was still on TV.
I thought you'd be impressed with that one. What did you watch, Matt?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, my co-host and I are finishing up our summer retrospective on Back to the Future. So last week I watched Back to the Future 2, and this week I watched Back to the Future 3.
Wow. And was it as good as you remembered?
My opinion, the original that I reviewed, 3 weeks ago now?
Right.
It's still the champion of them. But I liked Back to the Future 2 a lot. It's one of the ones I grew up and saw in the theaters as I was a kid. I was really fascinated with the flying cars and the technology. And now, technically, Back to the Future takes place in the past because the future in Episode 2 or Part 2 is 2015. And that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we still don't have our flying cars.
No.
So I'm a little upset.
I know.
Although
right?
they did predict the Cubs winning the World Series. So,
and that did happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Very nice.
But I think out of the two, I prefer Back to the Future 3 because I just like the story a little bit better. It doesn't rely so heavily on the original story and clips from the original. It's a completely different story. It's unique. It's fun. It's a Western with a DeLorean. I mean, come on, you gotta love that.
I definitely love it. Hey, tell me, did they end Back to the Future 3 with a chance that there'll be a Back to the Future 4?
No, they ended it with to be concluded. And that's actually one of the things we discussed in last week's pod is, we're in the world of constant remakes right now.
Yes.
And I was asking my co-host if Back to the Future is going to get remade. And I don't know if he knows for a fact, but he's pretty sure that it is not going to get remade until Robert Zemeckis passes on, because I believe he owns the intellectual property rights to it. And so no one can remake it until he'll allow it. And he does not want it to be remade, and he does not want to do a sequel.
Well, and, some things don't need to be remade, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
There's several films that have been remade that I do not agree they were remade because the remakes were just awful.
Right.
So, like a nice piece of art, you're not going to go and repaint the same thing or photograph the same thing. Just leave it alone.
Exactly. I agree with you. How many reels are you going to give Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3?
Back to the Future 2 is probably the least liked for me out of the three.
Right.
I give it 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Okay.
It's still fun and great movie.
Right.
And then Back to the Future 3, I give 4.5.
4.5.
I really liked it.
And you gave Back to the Future 1 5 reels. 5 out of 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know you remember it because you were shocked.
I was shocked. I've never heard you say that before. Very nice. What are you going to review next week, Matt?
Well, next week, I'll end it real quick. I know I got to go.
No
We're
worries.
going to review a film that was supposed to come out in the theaters. It's the first film direct to streaming for Disney Plus. It's called Artemis Fowl.
Oh.
So that's next week.
All right. We'll look forward to that next week. You guys catch Matt's podcast. It's called The Real Film Nerds. Maddie, thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Lisa.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye.